Hi, in this video we will have a look at Microsoft Power Automate Community Forum. So the question here is asking is about Microsoft Forms sending to a person or a group once a shift has entered. Then once the form is completed, he receives a reminder. Once the form is not complete, then the person will receive a reminder email every day. Once he complete the form, then there is a specific answer there, and if it is yes, then the team should, receives a notification of the answer was submitted. So what I did here is I created a form, and I have got two questions here. One is inform supervisor as. So this is where when it's submitted as yes, we need to alert to another team, and also some comments I added. And here is the Microsoft SharePoint list called machine maintenance, and I have got two records here. So this is the email I know I'm going to send the Microsoft Forms to. So that's where I'm keeping this record here. Okay. So if you look the Microsoft Forms. The action step is get response details, and the trigger is when a response is submitted. There is no action step called send the Microsoft form. So my plan initially was, if you look the scheduled trigger. Okay, recurrence, there's a schedule here. So here in the recurrence, we could say every day. Then we can set some start time like, 5:30 or something at these hours, it says here, at these hours. So you could say my shift ends every 6 o'clock every day. Then we could send that email. So there is no action step called send form here. So the only way I can think here is you may need to maintain another list in SharePoint, and then send that person the Microsoft form. So I'm not going to cover that. So I'm going to cover, the mainly based on here is once the shift had entered, he receives a link to complete a form on the Microsoft Forms or other. If he doesn't complete, so let's have a look the submission part first. So I'm going to remove this. So that's Microsoft Forms. Oops, I selected the wrong one. Yeah. So when a new response is completed, machine maintenance is my form name. And next step is again Microsoft Forms, get response details, select the same form name, that is again machine maintenance. Response ID is coming from the previous step, so that is a response ID. Now, if I add a compose, see, I could see the comments, inform supervisor, responders email, everything is here. So I'm going to collect the responders email here. Okay. So here we could say like machine maintenance form response received. Okay, let me save the flow. Okay, so the plan is we need to store that in SharePoint, and we know in SharePoint we got a record, for that email. So what we could do here is I'm going to do a SharePoint filter here. So going to the SharePoint and add a filter. Sorry, get items. Right. And here that's called email. So I'm going to filter by email now. And the output of the compose. Or you can directly map the responder's email here. Okay. So that means we are querying the record now first. Then we could use an update. So update item. We know it's always going to be one record only. So that means this ID is going to be unique for coming from the get items. So the ID which I need to look here is the get items ID. See, so it's only one record, even though the get items nature is whenever you map a value from the get items, the flow is going to construct and apply to each loop. Okay, right. And the title. So the title is mandatory, and we know what's the title here is called machine maintenance. So we need to type it again that here. So I'm going to type it as a hard-coded value this here. Now the email. So email, I know that. I know it's from the compose, not from the compose. I can't get that. I can get that from the I can, yeah, output. So if you search for output, that's output of the compose. That's a responder's email, or you can directly map the combo, the email there. Then the next one, next step here is enter the custom value. So here, what we need to here is we need to map the inform supervisor yes or no. Okay. I think this might fail. I believe I need to pass the yes or no value. Let me see. We'll find out that. And then what else we got in the form? We got comments also there, isn't it? So let me go back here and see the comments. I can't see the comments here. The comments is here actually. So what is that called? Output body of that. Okay. So when I place in the comments here, oh yeah, it's there, comments. Oh no, not that. This is the comments we want coming from the form. Yeah, comments. Okay. So that's fine. Now let's save this flow now. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my form, and I'm going to send this email to that email address which I specified. Send. Okay. Okay, so here is the email I received. It says you are invited to complete, which will only take 2 minutes to complete. Please submit. Start now. Okay. So I'm going to say inform supervisor and comment saying please take urgent action steps and submit. So hopefully our flow should trigger now, because our flows trigger is, remember, our flow trigger is when a form submission is submitted. Yeah, when a new response is submitted. So let's have a look. Here we go. The form ran successfully. Let's have a look. So that's triggered. And you can see get response details. You can see if you click on the show output, you can see who is the responder. See, that's the one we are collecting their responder email. Then the yes and those ones. This ID is the representation of that question there actually. Yeah. And then if you go back here, the compose collected that. Then in the get items, we are filtering with email is equal to such and such, the responder email. Then it construct and apply to each. As I mentioned earlier, it's only going to be one record always, because our list contains only one record in that SharePoint one. Yeah. And it's updated that. So if I may take you to back here, so it did updated that, but we got a small problem here. The inform supervisor, as I mentioned, is not updated with the right value there. So let's go back here and have a look. What's the value we got that from the form then? So here, see that is a text value as S, and in SharePoint it's a boolean value. So what we need to do here is, I'm surprised that it didn't fail actually. Right, we need to declare a variable here. So I'm going to declare a variable, initialize variable. Call it as inform supervisor boolean. Yeah. Then leave it that. Then here I'm going to add an if condition here. And under the if condition, I'm going to say inform supervisor from my form, get response from the Microsoft form answer to see this one. Yeah, is equal to yes. So that means we can set the variable, the Boolean variable to true then. Set variable. Select the variable I initialize. See, it should be outside the loop, remember. Yeah. And then here I'm going to say true. And if it false, okay, I'll give another shortcut method to add this. Let me close that. So if you click here and say copy to my clipboard, then go to the add action, my clipboard. See, that's there. Just double click that. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, leave that. So again, I'm going to say set variable. Select the variable name and that is false. So the one is true and that is false, because if it's yes, it should be true. If it not, it should be false. Now what we could do here is minimize that, drag and drop the update item here below. Now what we could do is we could remove the inform supervisor value there and select the enter the custom value here. See, enter the custom value and then map the inform supervisor value here. I'm not going to submit again another flow. What I could do here is I'll show you a technique here. We could say automatically with the recent trigger and the last succeeded. So it's going to run again with the same values basically. Okay. So flow is running and it's run successfully. So if I refresh this page, here we go. That's true now. See? So that's the technique you need to apply here. Now, the next flow, the next requirement here is if it doesn't complete, he receives a reminder email of the following day until the completion. So suppose this person also we sent. So this person hasn't submitted and it's the next day. What we need to do then? So what we could do here is we need to go to my flows and create a new flow now. Okay, so I'm going to select a scheduled cloud flow here, right? Okay, and what just skip that now. Yeah, and check the take this scheduled one. Yeah, okay. Okay, so if I search for occurrence, it will appear it. Yeah, recurrence schedule. Okay, so basically we want to run this every day. Okay, and what we could do here is we need to go and filter against this list, the machine maintenance list, and it shouldn't contain, the comment or the inform supervisor column. Okay, so that's what we need to do here. So Oh, I forgot this. Let me go back and extend this also. So I found something not quite right here. So what we need to do here is we need to go to the list settings. I'm going to create another column also here called form sent date. Yeah, and that's date and field. Okay. Uh, it's no default value, just the date only we want. Yeah, it's all good. Okay, that. Okay, so see, that's a form field name. Remember this. See that? That's the way SharePoint put the field, the actual schema names. See, sometimes if you want to filter against a date, you need to use this name. Seen in the forums, lots of people asking sometimes like, oh, I can't see my column name and it's giving me an error. Most likely this is the issue here. If you got spaces, you need to use this in your schema names. Okay, it's just another tip for you. Right. Okay. So going back to machine maintenance here. Yeah. Right. Let me refresh that column then. Yeah, forms and date there. I'm going to edit this and let me update this to 8, 10, 2022. Okay. So suppose the the requirement here again is once the shift has entered, somebody receives a link to a complete form. So somebody need to do this job as manual or automated way, whichever the way you are going to do it. You can do in different ways. As I mentioned, you need to have the people's name in the shift somewhere in a database or something. And then once the shift is entered, you could have a scheduled flow to go and say, hey, give me all the those person's name and then send the link. So to get the link, you can use this copy and use the send email action step, you know. So that's what you can do here. So like I mentioned, I'm not going to cover that. So let's assume that's, that the person I sent for this person also. Sorry, uh, uh, the people who are responsible for sending that after ending the shift, suppose they send to this person. So I'm going to make this to yesterday's date. That is Friday. Yesterday, yeah, 7:10. Okay. So now it's today and we haven't got any response set. So what we could do here is we could go back and here say recurrence every day. You could specify a specific, date and time here if you want. I'm not going to do that now. Or you can specify also the start time also. So I'm going to use my local time here. Right, okay. So that's the recurrence interval you need to run this every single day to run, okay. And then what you could do next is you could filter the SharePoint list then. So going back to the SharePoint and say get items, okay, and to use the list name here. And in the list name, I'm going to say machine maintenance again. Then here, what we need to do here is we know if there is no comments, then that means it's not, updated. That's what we want. Okay. So I'm going to say here, comments equals null. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's see this is going to work. So I'm going to have a compose here and just take the comments. Okay. Or the person's email. Yeah. Okay. Email is the best one to collect that because we want to alert it. Yeah. So to run this, I don't need to wait for another day then. So let me delete this. And for the demonstration purpose, I'm going to add a manual trigger here. Okay. And here I'm going to say reminder email. Okay, so suppose the schedule trigger is configured for running every day, then this is what going to happen. So for the demonstration purpose, I have added the manual trigger here. Okay, so let's run the test now. Oh, flow failed. Yeah, so I can't able to. So let me make it two blank there and see what we get. Comments of type node cannot be used in. Oh, it's a node type. Okay. Comments of type node cannot be used in query filter expression. All right. Okay. So what we could do here is we could go back to the filter query again, and this inform supervisor field. What we could do is I'm going back to the list items and inform supervisor field there. The default value is no here. See that? So based on that, we could query that. So I believe the comments one you can't able to query. That's what basically it says. I didn't know that. Okay. Or if anybody knows there is a way, then please let me know from the comment section of my video. Yeah. Okay. So going back here, find the inform supervisor. So again, see, I'm going to go to the list settings. So this is the one I mentioned earlier, like the spaces. Click on the column name. And see, I can see here the field is called that. That's the exact field name it is. We need to use. See, inform supervisor. Sometimes it put a spaces. I don't know which situation it is. Probably if you got more than one words, like with more than one space, I believe it puts some spaces. I don't know. I'm not really sure, but this is why I always use it. So I don't need too much worry about those side of the schema not found and those errors. Yeah. Let me go back here again and using that inform supervisor is equal to false. So let me run this. Aha, okay. So the flow is running, flow ran successfully. Here we go, the abby.mat@tech.com. This person, it hasn't submitted it, that submission. But there is an issue here. The issue here is we don't want, we want always, the next day only, don't you? Yeah. So if you look here in our SharePoint list, we know this person's sent on 7/10/2022. So just to cover that, what we could do is you could extend your uh, the filter query also here. Like, okay. So I found issue with the filter query here. So let me take it to back to the SharePoint list again. What I found out here is we need another column also. I'll tell you why. We can't use the inform supervisor because that's a default value. So we can't rely on that. We can't, it should be yes or no actually, isn't it? So we can't rely on that field always. So let me go back to the list settings And I'm going to add another column, another date column, that is forms response date. Okay. If you click on the response date, see there's a space here now with the underscore x0020 underscore. Yeah. Right. So let me go back to the response date. So I'm going to edit the first one because we did the response date. Let's go back and visit the first flow for a minute. I'm really sorry about this. It's just juggling with other flow and this one at the minute. So let me go back here. Machine maintenance response received here. So we need to update that field also here. So that update item should have form response date here. And so the response date is what we could do here is, so there's a submission time here. So I'm just going to map that and see that's going to work or not. So let me run it using the last trigger. So it's just going to update the same record anyway. If it fails, we'll have a look. Okay. So let me see. Going back to the SharePoint list. So this should have the form response date. No, the response date is not updated. Let me go back here and have a look here. Okay, so let me add another compose here and have a look at the submission time. Okay, let me run this again. So combos are good for debugging purpose also. This is where I debug my flows, what values has been received. See, I can see like it's 10/8/2022, that time it is. So what we could do here is we could go back here and go back to the apply to each condition here and add the combos here, please. Again, yeah. I'm going to delete this and use the expression here. So this is where you use expression because I only want the date format only there. Then going back to the dynamic properties and scroll down and find the submission date time, comma, and then put small y dash capital dash small dd. Okay, so that's the format we want. So once that format is good, we can go to the response date and say I want to update that combos 3 here. Okay, let me run again and see what's the result. Okay, so see, here we go. That's the format. So you can see it's formatted nicely there. That's the format we want, YYYMMDD. That's the way we need to update it in the update item SharePoint date time column field. Yeah. So going back here and refresh it. Here we go. That's correct. So now we got a response date. What we could do now is we can, oh, I forgot. So there is one more requirement here in the same flow. If it's true, then we need to send the email. You can do it under here, or you can directly do it after the update item. Because there is a process here, we don't want to fail that. Then the person will get an email, and suppose this is failed, it's not quite good. So I'm going to add it here actually again. So that if condition, and the if condition is our variable name inform supervisor field, and if it is true, see the variable we set here true or false. So all I need here is equal to true. Oops, I can't type true. Right, now under the else condition, so I'm going to say send email. I'm going to select my name here. You probably have, you can target to another person, there. And then here say, forms response. Then here, you can put hi, please have a look at comments. And if it is as, we need to, get the comments from the Microsoft Forms. So get responsive Microsoft Form mapping, that's what we want, remember, yeah? So here we go. So that's why it's going to send the alert then. So if I run this now, again, the first floor this is we are in. We'll go back to the second floor now in a minute. Right, okay, so see that email has been sent, and the person is going to receive that email then because if it's yes, that's what is going to happen. And also at the same time, the details are updated in the update item. Yeah, so that's good. The first flow is done. Let's go back to the requirement again. So the remainder we need to go back and have a look. Once he receives the complete specific consideration answer yes, then we need to do that. Yeah, here we go. That's my email received. Then my email is here with my comments. Here it is. Yeah. Right. So go back again to the second flow we created, which is the reminder email. So remember, in the reminder email, we have got a response date there. So that means if the response date is blank, we want to send a reminder email to that person. That's what we want. Yeah. So let's go back to the SharePoint list settings again. Find the response date field. Then I got the schema name correctly. See that? Just highlight and copy that. Now going back to the SharePoint list. Okay, so remove this. So it doesn't work as I mentioned earlier. Now we got response date is equal to blank. So let's test that. So remember, I'm testing with the manual trigger now. You can change that to a scheduled one to run every single day. Yeah. Oh, flow failed. Okay. So instead of two single quotes, we need to put equals null, and hopefully this should work. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. So now we can alert Abhi now here. So here inside the loop, we can say send email. Then add dynamic content. Click on the add dynamic content. And then here you can say email. That's a person's email. Then here's a reminder, please fill the form. Then here we could say like, hi, this is another, this is a reminder of filling the form. Please click below. Then we can go back to the form and copy the link. Then again, going back here and paste that link here. What we could do here is we could, instead of copying that, we could go back here to say the link. There we go. So link title, that is form. Then click the link and add. That's it. You can put appropriate title there. Yeah. So that's a reminder email, for that, and save the flow. So that's it. So this will do the job nicely for sending the email. I'm going to change this to recurrence flow again, schedule flow, and then change that to, you can have, different frequencies here. It's every day here. That's what we want. Okay, so there is something else we missed again. So it's a response date is equal to null. So what we want is, we don't want to clash with, it need to be 1 days old then, isn't it? So what we want is, we want to say, there is another field here, which is, which is called form sent date. Okay, so let's take the schema name again, form sent date. So let's copy that, form send date. Okay, so what we could do is, we could extend this like this. Form send date is not equal to today's date. That's what we want. So we could say like format date time UTC now. That gives you today's date, and in the format of YYYY dash mm dash DD. So what that will give is, it doesn't take today's, suppose the scenario is, let me take you back. Suppose the scenario is, we send this, the form to this person today, and the flow trigger is running just after that, with your scheduled time authorities. So we don't want to send, immediate reminder. We need to be 1 days old then. So what we are saying here is, it can't be today's date, because we assume that's been already been gone then. So it's not equal to that, and also the response date is null. So that's the way, it's going to send the reminder email then. Let me go back and put some temporary email then. So I'm going to put temp email. This is a good utility to test if you want. So a temp email. So this is a disposable email. It generates quite a useful tool it is. I use this all the time for sending temporary emails. So I'm just going to copy it. And once you send the email, it will appear it here. And if I may take you back here to SharePoint, so this one is my made up, email. So I can put some proper email now. So I'm going to change this to this, and save it. So suppose, this is sent it to that person yesterday, and I'm going to run my flow again. So this is a recurrence flow, so I need to delete this. Oh, let me run this and see. Ah, okay. Flow is running because it's every day, so it can, it's the flow recurrence run, but there's a problem here. What is that? Not equal to this is not valid. Okay, I think I forgot some. Yeah, I forgot some single quotes here around it. That's why it's complaining about. Here we go. So after not equal to, I need to put two single quotes. Right. I'm going to run it again and see what's going to happen. Here we go. That person should receive an email. See if I may take you here. See that. Here we go. I got my reminder email. If I open that reminder email, a person has got the reminder email, and um, oh, somehow that link is not being displayed here for some reason. It could be a security issue for this, but generally you should have that link in an actual inbox. So let me see then, source. Anything reveal it? No. Um, oh, nothing there actually. That's a shame. So let's go back again, edit the flow. Let me make sure it's there or not. Send email. Oh, it's not there. Okay, let me go back here. copy that email again, click the link. Okay, click here to submit form as a target link. Okay, that, here we go. So let me run this again and see that's going to work. Somehow, earlier, somehow we missed that. I don't know how. Okay, so we should receive another email here. Right, okay, so looks like we received the second email. We should have the link here. The link is not there. Let me go back and edit and see the link. No, the link is there. So I think it's a platform having some issues there, I think. So that's fine. Um, so that's a technique we need to use here for, sending the reminder emails. And also I demonstrated about the other flow, which is the when a form is a response is received. So this is where you can capture and also you can send the alert email based on a response as well. Yeah. So the hopefully this is useful. And also I did mention that I haven't covered about once the shift has entered, there is a predefined. So what we could do is you could go back here, create another list called shift patterns or something, and keep the people's email there, and then put some date and time or whatever it is. And based on that, you can run the flow in another scheduled trigger saying, okay, go and have a look at that list, give me all the emails, and then send the form using the send action step, email step, and just copy that link then. And at the same time, what you could do then is once when you're going to send it, you can create a machine maintenance record here also then automatically, So here you can say which email you used, and that should be false, and this will be blank, and then the form send date also you can fill using that. So I haven't, put that flow. Hopefully you understood what I am trying to say here. And also here, once you send the reminder, at the end of the day, if the person hasn't filled, they're going to receive every single day another email also until they give the response. So make sure, to go to the collect response, not there, here. So under the settings, you can say one response per person. So even though in his inbox he may have more than one email, it doesn't matter which one he's going to click and give the response. And if he's trying to do another one, it's not going to allow him. That's what this option means. Yeah. Hopefully this is useful, and thank you for watching.